Hello and welcome to Leopard Exotics. I'm David and this is Hank, and today we are going to list the 5 things that you didn't know you need as a leopard gecko keeper. Now before we get started, just 2 bits of housekeeping. Number 1, we are animal led, so if Hank gets bored during the video we will be replacing him with one of the other leopard geckos. And number 2, please remember to like, comment and share the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much and let's get on with it. So leopard geckos are absolutely fantastic and they don't have a lot of needs. You will probably have the basics such as a substrate, the heat mat or a heat source above. You might have UV, though that is not essential, and you can watch our video on reptile myths, which is up in that corner. Or you can watch our care guide where it tells you about all the basics, and you can watch that in that corner too. But apart from that, there are several things which reptile keepers need, and this is generally for most of the reptiles, but we're going to specifically talk about leopard geckos here and how it's helpful to them, that you probably didn't realise that you had. So we've got 5 things right here in front of me, and I'm going to talk about each one of them and how they're used in keeping of leopard geckos so that you can maintain a healthy, thriving gecko. Now the first thing, and this is probably one that you might have been told, is a set of digital scales. Now we use these for a monthly weigh-in. What we do is we get the male, the adults, we literally turn it on. Hello, and he's going to be grumpy here. We literally put him on, and every month we record his weight. So this month, Hank is 85 grams, which is absolutely perfect. I know that he always sits around between 84 and 86 grams, so he hasn't put on or lost any weight. Now the reason for this is that the weight of a leopard gecko is one of the main indicators for health. Now, if a leopard gecko is not putting on weight, is not too much of a concern. If they put on an excessive amount of weight and they're an adult, then that is a concern. And if they lose 10%, then that is a significant concern that you really need to be careful of. What you're looking for is a gecko that's staying between 5% of their standard weight. So if they're about 80 grams, then you're looking really at 5 grams either way, maybe 6 grams either way, and that's what you're really looking for. Now to help you do this, you need the second item which is on our list, which is pen and paper. What you want to do in there is write down your weight and the date. Now you might also want to include other features in there which can help you maintain a good record of health for your leopard gecko, such as when they shed, when they've pooped, how much you fed them, how much they've eaten, any kind of behaviours that you've noticed in them. Now for the most part this is just record keeping and it's just something that's fun to do and you can have a look back at. But say your leopard gecko did get ill, you have a good record of the weights and everything else. You can take to the vet and say, well, this is what they were on this date, this is what we've noticed their behaviour doing. At the same time, your pen and paper can be used for other elements within the thing that we will be talking about in a bit. Now, these guys are absolutely fantastic at causing problems, and you really need to note those behaviours down as well. So for instance, Hank here has been known to do press-up competitions with those that are next to him, and this is a behaviour that we've actually noted down, and that's just a male response. 2 males will do that. The next thing on your list is this. Now this is a heat gun, and what this does is that you press this trigger here, it sends out a beam of light which then records the temperature at that particular spot. Now the reason why we use one of these is that they're actually far more accurate than your thermostat or your thermometer that you might use inside your enclosure. And this can also read the cold side as well, so you can keep a good model of kind of a good record of what the temperatures are inside your enclosure for the leopard gecko. And you should be noting those down in your pen and paper as well. Now, the temperature should be taken about once a week if you can do it. Here at DJ Exotics we do it twice a week. What you're looking for is on that hot side for the temperature to be within 1 or 2 degrees of 32, and on the cool side to be within 1 degree of 24. Now the next thing on the list, and this one is more of an ease of maintenance, and that is baby wipes. Now a lot of people say, well, why do you use baby wipes? Baby wipes are actually a fairly easy way to keep the enclosure clean. Now I'm not suggesting not to use your reptile safe antibacterial or cleaner solutions such as F10 and the Johnson's reptile cleaner. They should be absolutely used, but those are things which we talk about in other videos, and those are things which we have always said that you should have. Baby whites make cleaning some aspects of the enclosure a lot easier to start with, and you don't really want to be using cleaners too often because you will also get rid of the good bacteria as well as the bad bacteria. You want to really use those about once a month. But baby whites are very good, so if your gecko has a tendency to go to the toilet on its plastic hide, the baby whites are a very good way to clean it in the first case. They are very hygienic, they just literally wipe away and then you put it in a bin. It's very, very simple. But what they are also very good at is cleaning the outside of the enclosure, so cleaning down the wood and the glass. They're also very good at getting into the glass kind of sliders. I found that you just bunch them up and you just go along them, and it really does keep those clean, allowing for the glass to slide very smoothly across. And that's one of the big advantages of them. Now, the final item on our list is a butter pot or a soft spread spot. Now, these are very useful because they make the perfect humid hide. Now, in our care video, we do discuss about the importance of having a humid hide in there so that they can shed properly. Now, I prefer to use the butter tubs because what you get is you get some of them which decide to go to the toilet on them or in them, and that can get very messy, and eventually what happens is that you have to bin it because it's become too dirty. Even if you do clean it very well, do catch that poop very, very quickly, it still becomes messy, and about once a month you have to throw it away. So I always like to keep a couple of these spare. So one of the other things that you can use the butter pot for is measuring out your mealworms. So you've got them in a pot, you can then put the 8 that you want into your butter pot and take them across and feed them to your leopard gecko. It's a nice easy way to transport them from one place to another, and that's really, really simple. Now, there are other things that you might want to consider with your leopard gecko, and that's including lots of things like spare parts. So a spare thermostat, a spare heat mat, a spare overhead heating system, a spare UV if you want to have that. And these things can be quite important. While most of this equipment is very reliable, it doesn't mean that it's foolproof, and geckos are quite naughty sometimes. And that if they are climbers and they are jumpers, they can rip a light out of the top. I've seen them climb branches and jump onto the cages around a heat system, around a ceramic bulb. They can be quite naughty. What I would suggest is having those spares, and have a spare heat mat if you use the overhead, because in a pinch, if your bulb suddenly blows, a heat mat is very quick to insert and keep the gecko warm, rather than having to wait maybe a day or two for a replacement bulb. Always have a replacement bulb if possible, but if that one suddenly clicks out before you get another one, then that heat mat is going to be really important. The other thing that you really need to consider is also keeping spare substrate and spare food in. Never really run down if you can help it. Apart from that, that's really everything that you need that you might not have thought of. I'm David, this is Hank. Please remember to like, share and comment on the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much, and bye for now.